You're listening to the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox Podcast, the podcast that keeps your practice sharp and your clients happy. I'm your host, Immigration Lawyer John Khosravi, and every week we're bringing you insights, tips, and real-world conversations with top immigration attorneys and industry leaders. Whether you're here to grow your practice, stay on top of the latest trends, or get inspired, you're in the right place. Ready? Let's go. Hello, fellow Toolboxers. Welcome to Immigration Lawyers Toolbox Podcast, episode number 409, with a great colleague doing an interview, Emma Wells, who's been in this game, really in the fight for a long time. And she shares her experiences, how she got into immigration practice, and how she's dealing with everything that's happening. So I'm really excited to talk with her. She's also heading the removal side of the fall AILA conference in Boston, Massachusetts. So I really want to get these in so people know that these great events are happening. It's a lot of work to set them up. There's a lot of education. And a great point, which is like the highest point of the interview, I'll just spill the beans right now as talking, is one of the most important things for your mental health and stress. I've talked about using technology and management and all this stuff, but really is what we do in the show and what these conferences are all about. Just being around other immigration attorneys, hearing them, it's a relief because we're doing something that very few people couldn't even understand what's going on. Not in the sense that they're incapable of understanding it, but it's just such a unique position to be involved in people's lives that are coming to this country and seeing their hardships and the difficulties and the arbitrariness of a lot of it, which gets really frustrating, especially if you're a lawyer and you think like logic and you deal with the immigration system was anti-logical in many senses. So she just highlighted the fact that just seeing each other, and it's so true. When I go to the conferences, it's so exciting for me. As I go to Disneyland, even though we're going to talk about how much stressed out we are, just to be around people that are excited about immigration law and like this podcast, hearing about it, having fun with it for what it is, it's a really important thing. So that's one of the biggest takeaways of this episode is really appreciative is not just having technology, not just having business systems and all that kind of stuff. It's really just talking with people and just do what you do and are in the trenches with you. So I really appreciate it, all the guests we have, but Emma in particular for highlighting, reminding me of that importance. So none of the information provided here is intended as individual legal guidance. If you want to join our community page, just email me. You have to be an attorney, a U.S. attorney, but email me at info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com or go to our website. We have a lot of stuff there, like our magazine, which should come out any day now, the episode issue number 10. You can find all that stuff, YouTube videos, links to our iTunes, and I'm trying to get on Spotify. So follow us on Spotify so we get higher rank there, please. But our community page, be able to enroll, course information, our EB1A, E2 course, it's all there on the website. And then from there, we take you to a private group, Circle.is. So it's like Facebook, but taking it off there. Some more stuff you can do there. So without further ado, let's get the show started. Hi, Emma. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful. So let's get started. Tell us about yourself? Where did you grow up and how did you get involved in immigration law?
I'm from Las Cruces, New Mexico, so I grew up about 30 minutes or so from the border, depending on where you go. So close to El Paso, from Juarez. My family from my mom's side is from northern Mexico, so from Chihuahua. And so I always thought I was going to be doing something to help out the Latino community. I didn't know it was going to be immigration in the end. But when I was in law school, I started helping out with clinics, naturalization. I went to law school at U of A in Tucson. So I ended up going out into the desert. We would collect people's documents. We would refill water stations.
Wow.
Would do all these different things that I found to be really powerful. And then after law school, I had my own immigration attorney. My husband was from South Africa, and he had a little bit complicated history, and I didn't feel like I could take it on myself. I was just doing regular civil litigation, just volunteering on the side, and I loved his attorney so much, who's become a mentor and friend. And on the weekends, he would be like, "Oh, do you want to help out?" It was DACA was new. He's
Yeah.
like, "You want to do this or that? You want to help here?" And I was hooked. And that was it. All right.
So cool. So now, so you got your feet wet in there. Did you just go into immigration law at that point?
I know. So I was in Las Vegas, Nevada. I was enjoying doing the work, helping out. And then we moved to Austin, Texas. And that's where I kind of took off doing my own private firm. I joined up with two criminal defense attorneys. I was helping them doing jail releases for any client who did not have status. And I
Hmm.
would run in the middle of the night and convince judges to give personal bond explaining what the immigration consequences could be if they didn't get released and ICE showed up. And that's kind of how I kicked off just doing immigration. And anything that went in for the removal, I would handle, and I would talk to ICE if ICE did show, and try to get them out of there before anything else happened.
So,
And yeah,
like, this is a unexpected question, but like that seems like a lot of work, and it's might be
mhm.
lazy of me. What is it? Is it just helping community, or what was as a fire? I mean, people who do court work in general, like I do. I'm only transactional, so it's I do like USCI stuff. The idea of going to court and arguing and doing this type middle of the night, people calling you, that seems really hard. But it came natural, or how do you handle that kind of like responsibility?
Um, it was a way to get started. When you
Yeah.
start on your own, and I didn't know anyone, anything, I met with these are 2 Latino attorneys who had been some of the first Latino attorneys out in Austin.
Hmm.
So I happened to just get set up with them, and that was a way to get going, and at the
Hmm.
same time, I was volunteering at clinics again,
Yeah.
getting my name out there so I could do some more affirmative work. But that meant I was just taking whatever. I was learning as I went. I was running. I would go into the jails, and then you'd have to go to the bottom of the courthouse to meet with the magistrate judges, and I would introduce myself saying right off, "I'm not a criminal defense attorney. I'm here on behalf of Antonio Juenes, who's amazing, but I do immigration law." And most of the time, they were really nice, and I,
That's
like,
cool.
explained. So it was a way to just go and then start,
What were
fighting.
ways you figured out what to do? Any resources? There's obviously AILA and stuff, but it's mentors, or was there any books, or how did you kind of figure out what's
My
going on?
my friend and mentor has started up. I did a lot of work with Ayla. I had, Austin had a really tight knit, still does, chapter. I mean,
Hmm.
the Texas chapter is huge for
Yeah.
Ayla, but there was a very small interior chapter of attorneys that I could go to, and then a lot of just reading, practice
Yeah.
advisory, learning. You just kind of went, watched, sat in on a lot of court,
Hmm.
and there you go.
And so I mean, I have your LinkedIn right here, right now. You worked Refugee Services Texas. That must have been a lot of a lot of work right there, especially 2015, 2018. So assuming you just got a lot of people requesting your services there at the Refugee Services of Texas.
Yes, I went from that, as I was doing my own, I got a message saying, "Oh, they're hiring." It's kind of specific, it was refugee law. So it was really interesting. I think
Hmm.
I had clients from 25, 30 countries,
Okay.
and it was during Trump won, so,
Yeah.
um,
Could you tell
we
us about the Florence Immigrant Refugee Rights Project? That's a big one, isn't it? That was helping a lot of people.
yes, the Florence Project here in Arizona is, the biggest, immigration services, particularly, and it's the only one that does detained work.
Hmm.
So they have a children's side and an adult side. The children's side is also very well known. And their mission is to provide pro bono services to all detained, whether children or adult. They've been around a really long time. They have been such a great program, but they've been hit really hard
Hmm.
with the cuts in funding, like all nonprofits.
Yeah.
But they've done some really great cutting edge work here, especially with the adult side in Florence and Eloy
Hmm.
in particular.
I mean, I remember when Trump one came around, those were like those areas were the ones where they were just putting people in the middle of the desert in some places. I remember people were going there. Was that it? I remember Trump on people would travel to Arizona to help and stuff.
Yeah, they did that. They also did a lot in Texas because Texas is where they have the family
Oh
detention
yeah, that's
centers.
yeah.
People would go out to do like the dilly runs.
Dilly, that was it. Yeah, Dilly, yeah.
Dilly is where people would head out, and we had the mobile printing station. That's how you would try to print your G28s and all these things, and then you run into the detention center. So Dilly had a lot of that. Carnes had the family detention center. Eloy and Florence, there's just a huge ton of like a mobile station. It's because we're closer to the border. We have people who come in, they might be stationed there for a while, and they get pushed out.
Hmm.
So you see a lot of that. And it's also in the middle of nowhere. And then it's the same thing in Texas. The only thing is like you don't want people here as long because we're Ninth Circuit. You want people out in the Fifth Circuit, Louisiana, Texas, because not as friendly judges, not as friendly a circuit.
Yeah. Now, one thing that I've seen, like especially the last AILA conference, and I went to, a lot of people were experiencing burnout from doing removal kind of work. And I was thinking, like, how do you lessen that burden? Is it like just creating better AI systems to help, better staffing, better business stuff, charging more if you can charge? Like, what have because you're on the front lines of this stuff. What have you found could be just something to relieve the pressures of it to be able to continue going longer?
Sometimes I think it's community, the people who do it with you.
Yeah.
So going to the conferences for me, I mean, they're expensive, but it really helps to be around people
Hmm.
that understand because as much as you be with your family, you have to do stuff outside of work. You gotta be able
Yeah.
to cut it all. But it helps to be around those who are dealing with it on the
Yeah.
day to day, and you need to be able to give yourself breaks. Because I was in Florence for a long time, and so it's hard for me to think about going back to detained work,
Hmm.
although I'm still more than likely going to be doing it.
Yeah.
But it's exhausting,
Yeah.
but, I still feel like, it's necessary for all of us, and everything is headed that way. So whether you're a business immigration attorney or you're affirmative, they're detaining your
Yeah.
client, and they're putting them in there, so the more you know about it, the more or at least you're connected, the better you'll be able to serve your clients,
Hmm.
to understand that world, to be able to go into that world and fight for them, and because they know you, they want you to help them.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just go around the other attorneys and then also cut it off, take a break. I don't watch the news that have to do with immigration. It's just like I
Yeah.
hear enough.
Yeah, I've cut out all the news 'cause I'm like, it's just gonna get me mad. So it's like, what's the point? I just gotta put my head down and do my work. And that's the best thing I could do. But yeah, I had a client. It was not too much details. It was like a business client, and he got a U visa situation. He's like, could you do it? I'm like, I don't know how to do it. He's like, no, I only trust you. I'm like, go to this person. Eventually, I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But I'm like, I gotta be very careful because that's something I do every day. So I had to probably spend double as much time as a U visa practitioner because I was reinventing the wheel and just figuring, make sure I do stuff right. But yeah, he's just like, I don't care. I just want you to there because I trust you, and I've that personal relationship exists. Now, you mentioned really good solution to because I was thinking like for helping the burnout is technology and staffing and management and stuff. But really, one of the funnest things is going to the national conference and just
Mhm.
like talking with people who are doing the same thing as you. And because it's hard for people to understand what we're going through. People think immigration is just forms. That's like the public's opinion on immigration law. So they don't even like have a. I mean, if you see like news reports on pro immigration reporters when they report on immigration, it's always something that's completely wrong. Like it's like misses the point or they get something wrong. So it's just really hard to find someone to relate. That relieves so much of the tension when you are. That's kind of what the show is about. I was a solo and I wanted to talk with immigration lawyers because I had like no one to talk with. So I was doing it myself. So this is one of the reasons I started this show as an excuse to just talk with people like do the same thing. It helps me like just enjoy my work more. So I was like reminding me of that was such an important thing. Now,
Yeah.
it actually that leads us to the segue, which is the fall conference in Boston, Massachusetts. What role do you have there, and what are you going to be? Are you on a panel as well? Hey, everybody, I'm going to jump in there with a quick reminder of our community page. If you want to join, which I recommend doing if you're a U.S. attorney, a lot of information, a lot of help, and a lot of camaraderie, and just taking your practice to the next level, just email me at info@immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com with your bar information or go to our website, immigrationlawyerstoolbox.com, and click on the community page and get it there. There you'll find also information about our magazine, our subscriptions to our podcast, the audio versions on different sites, as well as premium courses. We have information there on EB1A, E2, marriage, and we're going to create more specific ones on consular processing and the like. I'm going to do an N470 course, hopefully pretty soon for those who is rare but could pull off an N470. We're going to have a real quick course on that to get you up and running. I guess having said that, let's get back to the show.
Yes. So I'm the chair for the removal section because there's 3 sections. So there's the business section, there's a removal section, and they're doing a specialty AI,
Hmm.
technology section. I don't know if that's just not I don't really know what the tech part is,
I
but I'd
interviewed
already
Larry Drum. He's on this. So yeah, that 2 or 3 episodes ago. So for people who want to catch up, I'll put it in the show notes as reference. Yeah.
um, so they put me at this chair for the planning on the removal section. And so I had a committee, I chaired that committee, and we got together some time ago to start planning the 2 days. So the first day was gonna be on asylum, basically anything 589, so that meant asylum, withholding of removal, CAT, so Convention Against Torture, and then the second day is, like, hot topics around removal. And even though it was a couple months ago, we were already trying to look for like what is going to be relevant, knowing all the attacks were coming, what can we still give to the members in an intermediate and advanced fashion? So not beginner, like how you fill these
Yeah,
forms out, what is this, what is that, but what are we seeing down the line and what can we work in? And then we could put ourselves onto panels. But it was hard to do, but we were throwing around quite a bit, and I think we still came up with a pretty good. Uh, I think I'm excited about it. I think it's
for
actually
sure.
a very
I think a lot of people I
good.
talk with are excited about going, and Boston is a good spot to be fun. It's not fully cold though, so yeah, there yet. But yeah, it's a lot of work setting up these kind of things. Is have you done it before? Is the first time where you're leading the chair as the chair of it?
It's first time as a chair. I have been on the planning committees before, and it is a lot to do right off.
Yeah.
But this is the first time chairing it. I've got to see others do it. I know it's a lot. It's a lot to try
I
to
mean, just to
to
me,
or
like for a guest on a podcast, there's a lot I do myself. I have to do a whole. I did a seminar once in LA where we had practitioners come and speak, and it was just like a full. That was almost a full time job, just trying to coordinate all together, just getting speakers and things organized. So it's a lot. It's always surprising, like immigration lawyers. I mean, we go to these conferences and it's a volunteer organization, ALO, but behind the scenes, people are like literally sacrificing a lot just to be able to put this together. So it's not an easy thing to do.
no. No, I didn't realize how quickly it had to be done because the annual conference was still coming up,
Hmm.
and we were already having to set everything up for the fall conference, and I was going to be speaking at annual. I was like, I'm still getting that together. I'm like, what do you mean? So,
Because
but we no.
when they invite you to talk, you got to put the stuff, written material together. You got to meet many times. It's kind of like it's a whole thing. That's why I'm kind of like when I first time invited to speak, I was really excited because I was been years. I was like, I hope they invite me. And then after I did it a couple times, I'm like, it's too much work. I don't want to do it anymore. I got this on my resume, so I'll move on.
Yeah, our practice advisory is due this Friday. I have to finish doing the PowerPoint today. So,
So, thank you for making the time for rescheduling too, because we were supposed to do this earlier, but I had internet issues. One question I just want to bring up is I was talking with a practitioner who does asylum cases, and he had a client that came to him for like his hearing, and his asylum had like changes that had happened, so he updated the record, and the judge said, "Oh, these are too new, so I'm going to preterm it because essentially it's a new filing now, and it's past the 1 year start date, so we're not going to accept it." And he was really shocked about that. Now I don't do asylum, but I was like, "Oh man, that's terrible." Is that something you've heard of or seen, or is it
yes.
that's is that
So that's
long-standing
something
practice or?
no. So ch the changes to the asylum, so there is law around, like, if you do a big change to the 589, they can do the 1 year. So, you have 1 year to file your I-589, and if you haven't, then you no longer qualify, you're now no longer eligible for asylum, like, now you're looking at withholding and CAT if you haven't met the 1-year deadline. So if you do something that affects like the underlying asylum claim, depending on what you're changing, if it's not some minor things, if it's not the actual claim, or
Mhm.
you're adding new things, then that could affect the 1 year. To pre-termit the entire 589, so that's something that's been being pushed now. So there's quite a few, not maybe a lot, but there's a couple of practice advisories on how to push back on those pre-termissions because there's case law pushing back on general, like, you should still have an opportunity. The respondent has, their own constitutional rights to be able to testify, to
Mhm.
be able to defend their claims, and to be able to make sure that's a separate issue than the 1 year saying that, "Oh, no, I've changed the underlying claim so much, it no longer meets the 1 year mark." Because we still like, how do we know they don't still qualify for withholding or CAT, which do have different burdens as far
Mhm.
as how much evidence is required from one or the other. But they're doing whatever they can to just get
Yeah.
them out of court to just get rid of their claims.
Yeah, it's getting wild. With this truck driver who may have led to some people dying, is alleged, I guess, because it's not a conviction yet. But in Florida, have you heard about it? It was a truck driver who had a driver's license, and I think he had asylum pending or something like that, and he got an EAD based on that. And so now they're saying that I saw this Heritage report. Someone do a report that said we shouldn't be giving EADs until a person gets the benefit. So if you have asylum, you got to get the asylum approved. But it's like it's taking 7, 8 years sometimes to get asylum approved. So just get a hearing. So it's like, what are you gonna do if someone's here for 7 years not working? Like, does that even make sense? But they don't really put two and two together of like the practicality of something like that and the necessity for the EAD. So it's being attacked in all sorts of different ways. The thing that's got me really worked up right now is the citizenship change where they're going to be doing home visits and work visits, and it's like, how do you have the resources to be spending wasting time? What are you going to ask their neighbor? Is this person good? Yeah, sure. It's like such a waste of money to do something like this.
They don't have the manpower for it. They don't even have the manpower right now for all of what they're trying to do with ICE, but I mean, they're hiring with that $50,000 bonus. Bring them, so they're going to bring in all these randos that don't know what they're doing, and then they're just be showing up at people's houses. I don't know. We'll see how that
The
plays out.
Pentagon
It's just
said we'll like take volunteers to come join. So it's like it doesn't make sense. Like, immigration is very complicated. You just have random people come in and like do it. So you have to have all sorts of rules, regulations around it. So that's going to be the whole thing. And immigration naturalization timeline is going to go crazy probably to get that done. Because when they do like even fraud investigations for marriage cases, it can take 3 years for them to even visit the person's house just to check him out. I've had it where people come to me like, "Oh yeah, we had our interview," and then 3 years later they came to our house and finally give us a denial or whatever. And I'm like, "How are they gonna do naturalization? It's gonna be multi-year process before someone naturalizes."
I have no idea. And then with a good moral character, we don't know what that's going to look like,
Yeah.
what exactly they're going to use.
I've had to tell
I
my
don't know.
clients like, "Okay, it's hourly now," but like, "Wait a minute, how much is that gonna cost?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what standard it is." It's just like kind of like it's so I was reading it, I have it right here. I've highlighted, I'm gonna do a video on it. And they have like citations to court cases. So I was gonna do a CLE on it of like reading those cases and giving some tips on what to do. But it's super vague. I mean, like they have a thing where if you have aggressive solicitation, that's a problem. I'm like, what is aggressive solicitation? Just really forcing people to buy your stuff or something? It's kind of weird. So but it's just it's a wild ride, and in one
Yeah.
sense, like business wise, more people are hiring lawyers, so it might be more functional. But things are gonna get more expensive, and it's gonna be more tougher on people. How are they gonna afford this stuff? So inevitably, immigration lawyers, the way we are gonna give huge discounts, and so we're gonna be slammed doing work we're not gonna get paid for. Essentially, that's what's
Pretty
inevitably gonna
much.
happen. So
Mhm.
it's gonna be a long, tough log of the next 3.5 years, and hopefully not longer.
I know. It's so tiring.
Yeah.
We haven't even gotten to one at all. You know,
But,
it's really
it's still a great practice area for people who wanna get in. It's as tiring and annoying as it is, like, people there's a lot of people's posts, "I'm getting out of this field," and stuff like that, but either they never come back in or they just don't do it. It's a very lovely field to help it. It really means something to the world and the community, so, it's so meaningful that I just people don't really leave the practice area once they're in.
now I couldn't see myself doing anything else. That's the thing. Like this is it. I
Yeah,
mean, this is what I was meant to do. So once I was in, that was it.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's the cool thing about immigration law. People switch from civil litigation, this and that, but once they go to immigration, it's like, oh, this is great. I love talking with people and get to know them and be with families. It means a lot. So
Yeah.
my dad always on a weekly basis tells me to quit and go into corporate law business and make money. I'm like, I just can't do that. It's not me. It's like, no, immigration lawyers are poor. I'm like, well, not necessarily poor. There's some really rich ones too. But it's like it's just there's more to it than just like the dollars and cents of it. Now, obviously, we're lawyers, make money, but there's just
Right.
a much more deeper gratification in life to be doing this kind of work.
It is. It's yeah, I couldn't do anything else.
Yeah.
That's it. Regardless of what else happens. I couldn't do anything else.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. If people wanted to reach out to you, what's the best way they could do that?
Right now, because I'm still setting everything up, it would be via email. So it's just emma@emmawellslaw.com.
Wonderful. Are you active on social media at all or not yet?
Not yet. I've never been a big one, but I will be eventually.
So I think I have like a contact request pending for like a while now on your LinkedIn page. So I was going to plug that, but
Oh, oh yeah, I will.
it's a lot of work. The business aspect, I mean, you've run your own firm before, but it's just if you're restarting it too after a couple years off, lumping two full-time jobs just to manage this practice. How big is your team right? Is it
Mm.
yourself or do you have other people with you right now?
Well, right now, it's just myself, and I've been contracting myself out to other firms,
Hmm.
and then I've taken a few private clients on, but I've been doing a lot of contract work for firms.
Yeah,
So I just
that's one thing when I've
having
seen
me do
practitioners who do contract work, they don't really need that front facing as much because it's like based on networking. So, I mean, yeah, doing the fall conference, that's like the best marketing there is for you to connect with people. But I'm glad we get your name out there and practitioners can hear about you as well. Could you say your
yeah.
email again one more time?
Emma at emmawelleslaw.com.
Perfect. We'll have it in the show notes and probably under your name in the final edit of this video. Thank you, Emma. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Oh, you're welcome. Have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. It's a real pleasure to have the access and capability to talk with practitioners everywhere. We're doing much more interviews just because I enjoy this, but we're also getting back into doing top 10 videos and information about immigration law. I used to do these analysis of the law on the podcast, but then I put it behind the Circle That Is So group. One reason is just because it's so technical. I don't want people in public to hear it think it's individual legal guidance per se, which will always give disclaimers that it's not intended for that. But because not everyone has access to the community or doesn't know about it or just won't sign up the first time around until they see what's in there, we're going to be sharing more and more information on this kind of stuff. But really listen to our Monday episodes, top 10. I go through a lot of details of what you should know about immigration law. It's something to listen to in the car drive when you're washing the dishes or just sometimes taking a shower, just have it out there. Hopefully, I'm not speaking too fast and it's legible, but it'll really update you on some really important stuff. This coming Monday, I'm going to record some hard-hitting Department of State information that came my way. That's really important for becoming a better practitioner. I'm going to share it there. So thanks so much for listening. If you haven't already, join our community page and follow, like, and subscribe wherever you're watching. Until the next one, have a good one. If you like this episode, follow us on Instagram. Our handle is Immigration Lawyers Toolbox, where we post the latest statistics, tips, and more. And stay tuned for more from the Immigration Lawyers Toolbox podcast.